NationalDebtRelief.com to get started.
Today on NewsNation Now, former President Trump surrenders in Georgia as another candidate star starts to rise. So what's next for the wide pool of GOP candidates? And the search is on for the man suspected in the brutal murder of a Maryland mother of 5. The new incentive from police to help track him down. And an online video game maker being accused of being an illegal gambling ring. Is Roblox preying on kids? That and more coming up on NewsNation Now. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Nick Smith. Former President Trump and his 18 co-defendants in Georgia election interference probe have turned themselves in to authorities. This is the 4th time Mr. Trump has been arrested on felony charges, but for the first time, he has a mugshot. And no sooner had former President Trump left the Fulton County Jail in Georgia last night, did his campaign immediately start raising money, not just off the latest arrest, but off the photo, too. NewsNation Chief Washington Correspondent Blake Berman is live at the White House. And Blake, the former president is also back on Twitter, now known as X.
Yeah, so you'll remember, Nick, after January 6th, 2021, Donald Trump was banned from what was then known as Twitter. Well, now just fast forward the clock now, some 2.5 years later, and the former president making his first post on what is now known as X. This was the post right here, and it was an historic one at that. As you can see, the former president posting his mugshot from the Fulton County Jail, the first ever mugshot from a former president. Donald Trump then writing, quote, "election interference, never surrender," and then he directed people to his website. Now, on that website, a message from Trump following his release from jail and some new merchandise as well. Shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, even a vehicle sticker displaying Trump's mugshot. Yet another way to try to raise campaign funds. Those items appearing shortly after Trump was released from jail.
What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And everybody knows it. I've never had such support. And that goes with the other ones, too. What they're doing is election interference.
All right, so as all of that was happening last night, a bit of trolling, you could say, from President Biden, because at 7:30, right on the dot, exactly when Trump said he would be arrested, the president took to his personal page on X and wrote, quote, "apropos of nothing, I think today is a great day to give to my campaign." Both sides here, Nick, clearly trying to fundraise off of the events yesterday, off of that mugshot, and of course, in this era of you can basically find anything you want online and click and pay for it. You could go just about anywhere today and find an item, a shirt, a sweatshirt, whatever, from an individual vendor.
And
with
Blake,
that mugshot on.
we've only just begun. Blake Berman, thank you so much. Yeah. Well, he gained the most attention during this week's first Republican presidential candidate debate, and afterwards, more than 1 million people Googled him. Vivek Ramaswamy, former President Trump, who didn't participate in the debate, declared Ramaswamy the winner. But his fellow candidates say while Ramaswamy can get attention, he's all fluff and no filler. NewsNation's Robert Sherman is following the story. Robert, it's been a few days since the debate. Is Ramaswamy still trending among voters?
Yeah, that's definitely what we're seeing here, Nick, at this point. And going into this race, we all knew that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis would garner a following. But there's only one other candidate who's been able to rise above the pack and hit that second tier, and that's Vivek Ramaswamy. And you look at the Real Clear Politics average of polls nationwide. Let's not overstate this. The former president, this is still his race to lose. He has over 50% of support nationwide. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, a distant second. Vivek Ramaswamy rising, but still back there in third. But now let's switch things up a little bit. A new poll out from Rasmussen reports in a hypothetical scenario where Republicans cannot vote for the former president. Look at that. Completely different ballgame. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, neck and neck with one another, and then the rest of the field back there in that second tier. Ever since that debate, we've really seen him start to surge as well. And that's the important thing to keep in mind here, Nick, is that all this polling data we're seeing, it doesn't even take into account the aftermath of that debate. It's still a little too early in order to get to that point. You talk to those who, are very close to all of this, and they say the fact that Ramaswamy was targeted so often on stage goes to show that there is momentum behind his campaign. Listen to this.
What was interesting to me was to watch everyone focus their fire not on DeSantis, but on Vivek. That tells me their internal polling in all these campaigns kind of proves what we're seeing from the outside, which is the bump for Vivek is real.
And here's the thing about those debates, Nick. Of course, you hear the candidates' sound bites, you hear the back and forth jabs, but you don't get to hear the candidates get deep into the issues and the impact that it could possibly have on voters. Town halls, such as our NewsNation town halls, do an effective job of that, which is why you'll be able to catch our town hall with Vivek Ramaswamy Sunday night only on NewsNation. Nick?
Robert, thank you so much. Well, the debate may have reset the race a bit. Here to talk about where things stand now and Ramaswamy's growing popularity is campaign reporter from The Hill, Caroline Vakil. Caroline, you and I have spoken about the race before in the past, and I have to ask you, it seems as though even though we're talking about Vivek's rise, we can't help but notice DeSantis kind of fading into the background. I want to get into Wednesday's GOP debate. Ramaswamy, who just a few months ago was almost entirely anonymous to much of the public, is now rising in the GOP presidential polls. Why does this matter?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, as you've noted, Vivek Ramaswamy was, virtually unheard of when he launched his campaign in February. Fast forward to Wednesday night, and you're not going to be able to talk about the debate without talking about Vivek Ramaswamy. Why it matters is that these presidential debates offer Americans, and specifically Republican primary voters in this case, their first opportunity to really get to see these candidates up on stage who are going to contrast themselves. And with these kind of opportunities, it gives a candidate like Vivek Ramaswamy the opportunity to get a lot of eyeballs on him. And he was certainly the focus of several different tangles with more experienced politicians like former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, former Vice President Pence. And, because they have been, having these tangles with him, it does suggest that these campaigns are starting to take him more seriously, back on the backdrop of some of these national polls showing that he has more momentum in the race right now.
Caroline, his performance also seemed to have earned him mixed reviews. Some people thought the grin was a bit too cheeky and that he was too smooth. Some found him completely obnoxious, but most agree he won the lion's share of attention that night. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. I mean, the opinion out there is only twofold. You either loved him or you hated him. And that was certainly true amongst all of the chatter online and in the spin room afterward. But if you're, essentially a formerly little-known candidate running for president, having that attention on you in general isn't going to necessarily be a negative. And for Vivek Ramaswamy, his campaign has said he raised $450,000 on Wednesday night after the debate. His campaign told me that he raised $600,000 on Thursday, the day after the debate. And so you can tell that buzz is actually generating some financial momentum for him as well. The question becomes, where does he go with that momentum, and can he sustain it into this next second debate in September?
Well, if he continues to keep his allegiance with the former president intact, it seems he can go far. He called former President Trump, quote, the best president of the 21st century, and repeatedly defended him. Do you think his strategy in doing so is what's helping him grow in popularity and raise money?
Definitely. I think that, for these candidates, as has been said before, this Republican Party is shifting into sort of two different parties. Those who are either largely loyal to Trump or are open to voting for him again, and those who want an alternative. And these candidates are trying to find a way to be able to mingle with both. Vivek Ramaswamy is obviously seen as sort of a likable candidate for, more Trump loyal aligned, voters, or those who are open to voting for him again. The question becomes, can he expand that coalition? Some Republican strategists have suggested, say he can, and he can maybe even court voters who typically may have been outside of the Republican base in previous presidential cycles.
Caroline, I've got less than 30 seconds, but I've got one more question for you. Speaking of Mr. Trump, he has now been charged in 4 criminal cases. He still holds a commanding lead, but do you think these indictments will have any negative long-term consequences for his campaign?
So far from what we've seen from the polls, the indictments show that, they haven't toppled him in terms of being the front runner on the primary. Now, as these trials get underway, things may possibly change. If there is an acquittal or a conviction, that's also going to change the calculus here. But at this point, with the indictments and the fact that Trump is still fundraising off of, even his mugshot, as you've noted, seems to suggest right now that he doesn't see any issues in the long run right now.
Caroline Vakil from the Hill, once again, thank you for joining us and helping us to break it all down. Now let's head south to the southern border, where migrant encounters are once again on the rise, and the number of unaccompanied children showing up there at the border is the highest they've been since last December. NewsNation's Allie Bradley is following this story for us from Arizona. Allie.
Yeah, Nick, we're talking about a 73% increase in unaccompanied children showing up along our southern border when compared to June. That's according to federal statistics. Now, in an effort to be more transparent, the Biden administration started sending out daily data of unaccompanied children. Back in February, we were seeing these numbers from HHS every single day, with the exception of some holidays. Well, that reporting stopped on August 11th. We didn't see any figures for 12 days. That data just started back up again now nearly 2 weeks later. It shows more than 10,000 unaccompanied children are in HHS Office of Refugee Resettlement custody. 1 month ago, however, there were only a little more than 7,000 children in custody. Now, something else we're seeing more of, discarded documents over in Mexico. And agents tell me that migrants are ditching their papers because they might have some kind of criminal history, or they believe having no documentation will give them a better chance at being granted asylum. Those documents show they had some kind of stability or they were safe, which could decrease their chances of being admitted into the U.S. Among the discarded documents, I found the Brazilian passports belonging to 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, ages 14, 12, and 5, who do appear to be siblings based on the names on their passports. And as we learned during the congressional hearing with HHS Secretary Becerra, DNA testing isn't mandatory. The documentation that they had to prove who they are or that they're related was left back in Mexico. And the director of ASU's Office of Sex Trafficking Intervention Research says while families are desperate, they're getting the message to send their kids over now, and it's all incredibly organized.
There's a network, right? I mean, that child didn't sit in the desert waiting for mom to land somewhere. I mean, it really talks about the desperation of people to me, that they're trying so hard to find a way to the freedom in the United States, that they're desperate for their children to have a better life. The fact that of putting a child in the desert with a note card, a tiny little person with no defenses is really heartbreaking.
Now, when it comes to what children are being documented here, Nick, it's mostly kids from the Northern Triangle. We're talking about Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador make up the majority of these unaccompanied minors. Now, of course, I have reached out to HHS multiple times trying to get some kind of comment or answers as to what's going on down there. But, Nick, in 5 emails, I have not had a single response.
NewsNation national correspondent Allie Bradley at the border. Tough to see those kids just dropped off there. Let's turn now to some of our other top stories. Officials in Michigan say at least 5 people have died as storms moved into the western part of the state overnight. The National Weather Service reporting that some of the damage may have been caused by 2 tornadoes, packing wind speeds of up to 75 miles per hour. Now, police tell NewsNation a 21-year-old woman and 2 young girls, ages 1 and 3, died Thursday night after 2 vehicles crashed head-on while driving in the rain. At the hour, more than 100,000 are still without power. Now, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has declared a state of emergency. And today, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said additional rate hikes may be needed to fight inflation. Ms. Powell says consumers are aggressively spending and the economy is growing faster than expected. He also stated the Fed is focused on keeping its key rate elevated until price increases are reduced to the central bank's 2% target. Now, core inflation, which excludes volatile food and energy prices, has remained elevated despite the Fed's streak of 11 rate hikes beginning in March of last year. And the mother of a U.S. soldier being held in North Korea says her son has so many reasons to come home. North Korea recently released a statement confirming it has Travis King and that he was critical of the U.S. while in custody. His mom says it's not true and that her son was proud to be an American. U.S. officials say they are working to get the Army private back home. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice is suing SpaceX, claiming the company has unfair hiring practices. The lawsuit claims SpaceX discouraged refugees from applying for jobs and that owner Elon Musk and SpaceX's leadership repeatedly claimed the company couldn't hire anyone who wasn't a U.S. citizen or green card holder, which the department says is simply not true. Well, the appliance company Whirlpool will have to pay $11.5 million because some of its glass cooktops could turn on by themselves. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says Whirlpool knew about the problem and waited too long to report it. The company maintains it acted, quote, appropriately. Up next on NewsNation Now, Maui County is now taking legal action following the fallout from the deadly wildfires. The critical action they say the power company did not take to keep people safe. Plus, the search is on for the person suspected of killing a mother of 5 in Maryland. The latest increase in reward money as police search for answers. You're watching NewsNation Now on NewsNation, news for all America.
The best political team anywhere. The Hill. Weekdays at 5, 4 Central on NewsNation.
Meet the team. Behind the team. The coach, the manager, and the snack dad. All using Chase to keep up with their finances. The coach helps save goals here because she saved for soccer camp there. And check this out. The manager deposited a check. Magic. And the snack dad, he's getting paid back. Orange slices. Because this team all has Chase. Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Did you know that the average age of a vehicle in the U.S. is over 12 years old? That means there's a lot of out-of-warranty cars out there, which means a lot of expensive vehicle repairs. Getting stuck with those costs is the last thing anyone wants right now. But you don't have to if you call CarShield. Plans through CarShield provide low-cost monthly car protection that can save you thousands of dollars in repairs on your out-of-warranty vehicle. Those plans can pay for expensive repairs on up to 6,000 parts of your car when they break down, including your engine, your transmission, AC, entertainment unit, and even your electrical system.
When I called a customer and told them that everything that needed to be done from the car was going to be covered, they were ecstatic. I feel great about recommending CarShield to everybody I see.
When you call CarShield, you'll get a price lock guarantee. That means your low monthly price never goes up, as long as you cover your car.
Being an essential worker and a mom of 3, finances can be very tight at times. If it wasn't for CarShield, I wouldn't have my car.
Your plan can even go the extra mile by including 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance with things like flat or damaged tires, lockouts, dead batteries, and courtesy towing, all at no additional cost to you. If you've got an out-of-warranty vehicle, you need to call CarShield and get their price lock guarantee for a low monthly rate for as long as you cover your car. But darlings, this is important. You have to call before your car breaks down, or it's too late.
Don't get stuck paying for sky-high car repairs. Call CarShield before your next breakdown. Call 800-548-6995. 800-548-6995. 800-548-6995.
At Consumer Cellular, our customer service team is based here in America.
America?
America.
God shed his grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna sell my life insurance because I don't need it anymore.
My kids are grown, my wife is great, let's settle up the score.
It's time to travel to Paris.
Spend retirement happy.
Call 877-SELL-EASY. 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 And sell your policy. You can sell all or part. Live your life life. Play it smart. 877-SELL-EASY and sell your policy.
If you've had a change in health or you're over 65 and paying for $100,000 or more in a life insurance policy you don't need, get paid for it instead.
Take the money that you get, gonna live it up, you bet. Call 877-SELL-EASY, 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 and sell your policy.
Had enough? No, arthritis. Here, Aspercream arthritis. Huh. Full prescription strength. Reduces inflammation. Thank the gods.
Don't thank them too soon.
Kick pain in the Aspercream.
Welcome back. For the first time, there's an official count of the number of people still missing more than 2 weeks after the deadly Maui wildfires. Maui County has released the names of 388 people and is asking anyone who knows of someone listed as missing but is actually safe to contact authorities. These new developments coming as Maui County is now accusing Hawaiian Electric of negligence in the lead up to the fires. NewsNation correspondent Joe Khalil joins us live. And Joe, this lawsuit clearly suggests that county officials are looking for accountability.
Yeah, they are. It's a major step toward accountability. The Maui official county is now filing a lawsuit against Hawaiian Electric, alleging that they are responsible for this wildfire sparking that ended up killing at least 115 people and devastating the island there. And the reason the county says is they feel like it was the power lines that Hawaiian Electric owned, they say were not maintained, that ended up falling in the strong winds in Maui and then sparking what ultimately led to the fires. We should clarify that the state is doing an investigation into how this fire started, and they have not yet finished that investigation. Still, the county of Maui not waiting for that investigation to wrap up and filing this lawsuit instead. And on their website, they lay out here part of the reason here. It says, quote, the lawsuit alleges the defendants acted negligently by failing to power down their equipment despite a National Weather Service red flag warning on August 7th. And they go on to say this lawsuit alleges that HECO, the electric company here, energized and downed power lines, ignited dry fuel such as grass and brush, causing the fires. Now, the reason Hawaiian Electric is in the spotlight at all starts with a video that a man from Lahaina took when the fires first began, and he alleged that his video showed the moment that their power lines did come down and spark in the grass that ultimately led to smoke and then this fire. This is the video that started it all.
Oh, this is live right across the street from my house.
Now, we did reach out to Hawaiian Electric for comments. So far, we've not heard back from them. A spokesperson for the utility did, however, tell the Associated Press they were disappointed that Maui County chose to file a lawsuit now while this investigation is still ongoing. Nick, back in 2018, the Camp Fire in California, which was to that point the deadliest in modern history, killed 85 people. They also found that it was California's biggest electric company, PG&E, whose power lines fell in much the same way, sparking the Camp Fire. There was a $117 million settlement that was filed as a result of the lawsuit, and ultimately PG&E ended up declaring bankruptcy in that case, Nick.
Joe, quickly, one more question. Maui County is also making news today in another way, releasing the names of individuals unaccounted for.
Yeah, that's right. They had not done this up to this point, when we still had some 800 names. They've whittled it down to 388 people who are now still unaccounted for. The FBI put this list together. So now Maui County is releasing all of those names, thinking that it may help if someone sees a name that is a relative that they have contact with. They can contact now the authorities and say this person is not missing. They are with us, hoping to bring that list further down to zero. So we'll see how that plays out, Nick.
And, Joe, I understand part of the confusion had been multiple agencies have been keeping multiple lists, and hopefully the plan is to combine those names into one single list. Joe Khalil reporting for us live this afternoon. Joe, thank you. Well, tonight at 6 p.m. on Elizabeth Vargas Reports, the Hawaiian wildfires blame game. Brian Enton talks live with attorney who is suing the local electric company as the state accuses them of being responsible for those deadly wildfires. And still ahead, the search for the person responsible for the murder of a Maryland mother of 5 intensifies. The new push from police to catch him.
I've been through a lot, but I'm still flirty.
Plus, pop star Lizzo showing us that she is 100% that chick. The pop singer now suing the backup dancers who are suing her. We'll break it all down with our legal expert after the break.
The Brotherhood of Muscle has always been known for flexing its power. But when we announced Last Call, some people got nervous. They thought we were gonna slow down, pack it in, ride off into the sunset. Think again.
This is an important message for anyone and everyone on or eligible for Medicare. If Medicare is important to you, then you need to hear this message because Medicare benefits matter to millions of Americans. Did you know Medicare has different parts, including Medicare Part A and Part B, often called Original Medicare? And then there's Medicare Part C, representing Medicare Advantage plans, and Part D for prescription drug coverage. Call 800-218-5045 now for your free Medicare coverage checkup. We can look up your plan and see if you're missing out on a plan with extra benefits, or if your income qualifies you to reduce costs on your prescription medications. Did you know there are different enrollment periods, like the Medicare annual enrollment period, when beneficiaries can enroll in or change coverage? But there are also certain conditions or qualifications that may allow you to qualify for a special enrollment period any time of the year. So call the number on your screen now for your free Medicare coverage checkup. This is a free service that you can call at absolutely no cost to you.
I'm on Medicare. I called to see if my income qualified for a lower prescription medication cost. The friendly agent was very knowledgeable, and I found out that I qualified for a special enrollment period. I'm so glad that I called.
We can look up your plan and see if you're missing out on a plan with extra benefits. We can also check to see if your income qualifies you to reduce the cost of your prescription medications. And we can even tell you if you qualify for a special enrollment period. It's your free Medicare coverage checkup at absolutely no cost to you. Just call 800-218-5045 and you can speak with a licensed agent who can check up on your plan and answer your questions. The Medicare Benefits and Questions line is open, and anyone on or eligible for Medicare can call. The call and Medicare coverage checkup is free with no obligation. Call now. We love talking to people with Medicare, and the call is free. Just call 800-218-5045. 800-218-5045.
We need some help.
I know. I'm going to CashNetUSA.com. And if approved, we can have the money in our account as soon as the same business day.
Go to CashNetUSA.com to apply for the money you need.
You can't count on the weather, but you can count on Dish and our reliability guarantee. Should you ever lose signal, contact us and we'll credit back your account.
Hey, Dylan, I want your dad to go out and help you practice your sliding.
The reliability guarantee from Dish.
Guys, got hair loss? I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head? Comb it over? Wear a hat? Just stop. This isn't 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration experts, can give you your real hair back permanently. Check them out because they're giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone who scans this QR code. Dude, you don't have to look like your dad because this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're ahead of the curve. They use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. And the best part, Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Let them show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Scan the QR code. Don't wait. Scan the code now and ask about the Bosley Guarantee.
Welcome back. There are more top stories we're following. The Republican National Committee announcing their location for the 2028 convention to be held in Houston, Texas. The Republican Party of Texas released a statement saying, "We are proud to welcome the Republican National Committee and Republican delegates from across the country to the most important and largest red state in the nation. Texas is getting $60 million in federal funds to strengthen its power grid. Over the past year, power has been knocked out by weather events, sometimes for days. The system came under nationwide scrutiny in 2021 when hundreds of Texans died during a catastrophic freeze. Texas officials say they plan to use the money to modernize the system and improve the grid's resilience. Right now, it's being threatened by triple-digit temperatures, but so far, there have been no reports of rolling blackouts. And more than 32,000 veterans are experiencing delays with their disability claims because of a technical glitch. The glitch reportedly happened back in February, but Military.com reports that some veterans just found out about it last month. The VA says it's deeply sorry and that only 0.5% of claims have been affected. Well, detectives are working to find the suspect responsible for Rachel Morin's murder. The Maryland mother of 5 was found dead more than 2 weeks ago. The 37-year-old was reported missing after not returning home from a hike. Her body later discovered in a wooded area by a search volunteer. NewsNation's correspondent Evan Lambert has been following the story. Evan, right now we know the police are continuing their investigation, but who is their suspect?
Nick, that is the key question, of course. Investigators have this guy on surveillance video, they say, but they don't know his name, and that's what's led to them to announce a new $10,000 reward for tips that could lead to this guy's arrest. They say so far they've had already 300 tips come in that they are vetting. This new reward, it is partially made up of funds from Maryland Crime Stoppers, the rest coming from the Harford County Sheriff's Office, who is leading this investigation. And they say that they are taking every tip seriously. The goal is to identify the man that you see there on your screen in this video. They say he is the prime suspect in Rachel Morin's murder. His DNA was found at the scene. This is video of him from another crime scene, a home invasion and assault on a young girl, investigators say, in Los Angeles in March. Deputies say the man may have ties to L.A. and possibly has committed crimes in other states. They believe that he brutally attacked Rachel Morin on August 5th when she was walking on Maryland's popular Ma and Pa Trail. It's a trail normally packed with walkers, runners, and cyclists. I was there this week, and we saw how busy it was. You'll hear first from the Harford County Sheriff leading this investigation and hikers that we spoke to on the trail.
The investigation has progressed. We're following tips as aggressively as we can.
So obviously today, walking with a buddy, but my mom also is a frequent flyer on this trail, and she just purchased both of us pepper spray, the whistles that you pull, another whistle to just carry with us in our fanny packs, have on our wrists, just so we're prepared in case we are walking alone.
And Nick, there will be a public celebration of life for Rachel Morin that's set for Sunday afternoon. Nick?
Evan, go back for 1 second. This unidentified suspect is accused of attacking at least 2 women. Do we know the nature of his offenses?
Look, so I asked the sheriff earlier this week, are we dealing with a serial rapist? He and also investigators in L.A. would not classify these crimes any further than what they've already said. They would not say if either of these involves a sexual assault. Nick?
Evan Lambert reporting for us live this afternoon. Evan, thank you so much. Well, Lizzo is planning to countersue the backup dancers who are suing her for sexual harassment. Several of her dancers have accused the singer of sexual harassment and poor working conditions. Among their claims is that they were pressured to touch new performers at a cabaret club. Lizzo's attorney released a picture from that night showing her backup dancers posing with cabaret performers. Now, the singer's lawyer says the photo refutes their claim that they were uncomfortable and were pressured to be there. Joining me now, trial attorney Heather Weidel. Heather, this countersuit, is this a sign that the singer is no longer being passive and fighting them on their turf?
Absolutely, it does. Obviously, this isn't a criminal case, which I'm used to, but the civil suits like this, you only have to prove something by a preponderance of the evidence, which means just over 50% instead of beyond a reasonable doubt. So in a case like this, where it is pretty much she said, they said, anything that she can do to refute any of their claims is going to be an incredible, powerful tool that she has. And since she has these pictures, which seem to directly contradict their claims that they felt uncomfortable, if they were pressured in any way, it seems that they were there willingly, happily. That's a big deal for her. And I have to believe part of this is also about reputation and brand management, because Lizzo is a brand. It's Lizzo's word against theirs. The dancers reportedly resigned for another leg of the tour. What happens now? Well, after this, we have to just see what I guess they're going to do. Since she's filed a countersuit, they can put in essentially another response to that, and it goes a little bit back and forth for a bit. But I don't think this is a type of case that will make it anywhere near a trial. It does seem that Lizzo is ready to fight for that if she needs to. Like you said, she is a brand. She is a powerful person and a powerful entertainer. And I think her credibility is at issue, and it's been put at issue by these dancers and these people who've been on tour with her. Again, any evidence that she's come forward with, which seems to be powerful, directly contradictory to what these claimants have claimed, and they haven't really seemed to put forth anything that shows their claims. So if they want to just keep going with just their word, they might not succeed very far, since they don't necessarily have as much credibility as Lizzo does. Heather, you and I both know that social media is one thing and the internet is another. But on the internet and on social media, I am hearing and seeing people talk about, well, there are a lot of people saying the same thing. Heather, legally, does that weigh one way or the other when, if indeed this does get to a point where someone has to adjudicate who to believe? It can, generally in criminal cases rather than civil cases. You end up going into different rules of evidence about what you can introduce to a jury if it gets to that point. Different things people can hear, habit, routine evidence, that type of thing, to show that this happened in the past. This is something that likely is more likely to have happened in this case. But generally, that's only allowed with cases for domestic violence, cases for DUIs, believe it or not, things where there have been case studies to show that people who have done those type of acts in the past are more likely to have done them in the future. For ones like this, where it's, I guess, sexual harassment, that could be a line where you might be able to introduce other evidence of other crimes, but it does need to be, and I say crimes, but other evidence of other situations of the same ilk of sexual harassment or sexual misconduct or pressuring people to do things. If there is credible evidence that would lead to the same type of allegations, then they might be able to bring those forward. But that would be in a separate hearing before anything, again, got to trial. Heather, and trying to make sure I ask this correctly, is it harder to prove these cases in a situation where the person being accused is a female as opposed to a male? How much does bias, I guess is what I'm asking you, weigh into a situation like this? Gender bias can be a huge, huge deal. It's the discrepancy between what people think that men can do versus what women can do is astounding. The people that I've spoken to in just my field who think, you know, oh, a woman could never sexually harass a man, or a woman could never sexually harass another woman, versus thinking that men can sexually harass people all the time is a pretty big group of people that just believe that women are not capable necessarily of sexually harassing people or forcing people or pressuring people to do things. In a case like this, though, where you have a discrepancy of power, you know, Lizzo, who is an enormous superstar, versus her backup dancers, who people probably couldn't tell you who they were on the street if you pointed them out, anything like that. It's, again, an issue of who do you believe? You get kind of into the Me Too stuff. You know, in this line of work and entertainment, people, you know, do things for different reasons. They come into contact with different types of people, and they do get pressured certain times by certain people, with the power dynamic being different. But it is a discrepancy with men versus women on who can sexually harass. Heather Wydell, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I have reason to believe you and I will be discussing this more in the future. Thank you. Have a good one. You too. Up next on NewsNation Now, police make an arrest in this flash mob robbery at a California mall. How police were able to find them next. And is Roblox really a big child gambling ring? Well, that's what one lawsuit says. We'll lay out the details when we come back. You're watching NewsNation Now, news for all America.
Moderate to severe eczema still disrupts my skin. Despite treatment, it disrupts my skin with itch. It disrupts my skin with rash. But now, I can disrupt eczema with Rinvoq. Rinvoq is not a steroid, topical, or injection. It's one pill once a day. Many taking Rinvoq saw clear or almost clear skin, while some saw up to 100% clear skin. And they felt dramatic and fast itch relief, some as early as 2 days. That's Rinvoq Relief.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers, including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Disrupt the itch and rash of eczema. Talk to your doctor about Rinvoq.
Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Are you sitting at home living in pain? Maybe it's in your hands or your back or your hips. I'm here to tell you that joint pain doesn't have to be a life sentence. Hi, I'm John Walsh. You know, for 40 years, I've been chasing down the culprits. And now I'm ready to throw the book at joint and muscle pain. That's why there's Omega XL, a one-of-a-kind, natural, powerful joint relief supplement. So I tried it, and it changed my life. Just ask anybody who uses it. The results are undeniable.
Last week, I walked 6 blocks. I was so proud of myself. I ordered Omega XL, and now I have more energy than I ever had. It's been the best thing that I did because it relieves a lot of pain. Everything changed for the best. I can go out, I can hang out with my sisters, I can go anywhere, clean my house, do whatever I can and want to do. Now it's let's go, baby. This product is the best thing. You will remember what did it to you, and it was Omega XL.
That's the truth, the facts, and the hope that Omega XL can bring you. Case closed.
Go to OmegaXL.com/John Walsh or call the number at the bottom of your screen right now to take advantage of this special offer. Buy 1 bottle of Omega XL, get 1 free. That's 2 bottles for only $39.95. Plus, you'll also receive a bottle of Vitamin XL D3 absolutely free. And it's backed by a 60-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, just return the unused portion for a full refund of the purchase price.
If you're living with joint or muscle pain caused by inflammation, try Omega XL and see the difference it can make in your life.
Order now to get this special offer. 2 bottles of Omega XL plus Vitamin XL D3 for only $39.95. Act now.
Our hard-earned money is spread thin. The cost of living is up. Gas is up. Everything is expensive. CarShield, America's most trusted auto protection company, spells out what's protected in coverage plans for your vehicle. If your vehicle is out of warranty, all you have to do is call before your car breaks down. CarShield preserves your right to save on repairs or replacements for major parts and systems, while protecting your freedom to choose your mechanic or dealer for one affordable pay-as-you-go rate, a rate that will never go up. The future of this country rests on the people. The future of your car should rest with CarShield administrators. Call CarShield before it's too late.
Protect yourself from the unprecedented rise in cost for parts and repairs. Call now to save money with your price lock guarantee. Call 800-845-6855. 800-845-6855. 800-845-6855.
Tonight on NewsNation, will former President Trump's mugshot help him politically? Plus, the return of mask requirements. And the hit song that's firing up the political extremes. Dan and his all-star panel pull no punches. Tonight on Dan Abrams Live.
Welcome back. We have a follow-up to a story we've been covering all summer. Police in Southern California have arrested nearly a dozen people in connection with a series of flash mob robberies. These ransacking at high-end stores over the past month are just the latest in an uptick in retail thefts across the country. NewsNation correspondent Nancy Liu is live in Los Angeles with the details. Nancy, this has frustrated customers, it's frustrated retailers, and it's made average people just feel unsafe trying to shop in the store.
You're absolutely right, Nick. And this is the Nordstrom among the stores recently targeted by a flash mob of thieves, prompting the launch of the new Organized Retail Crime Task Force earlier this month. And the early results include the arrests of 11 suspects, though authorities are not saying if those in custody are among the up to 50 people seen looting this Nordstrom on August 12th. Thieves ran out with over $100,000 in luxury goods from this store alone. Retail mobs have also targeted at least 8 other luxury stores in Southern California in recent weeks. The new task force involves about a dozen agencies, including California Highway Patrol, which just announced additional arrests to the north. 2 suspects in their 30s are linked to over $85,000 in luxury goods being sold at flea markets in the Bay Area and Sacramento. According to CHP, the items were stolen from a Victoria's Secret, and there's also merchandise from Lululemon, Sephora, Ulta, and other retailers.
We were able to go do some reconnaissance there, find out that it was in fact stolen merchandise that was being sold. We were able to verify that these items had not gone through a point of sale and therefore were definitely stolen.
It was just last week that L.A. Mayor Karen Bass announced formation of the task force to track down and break up organized retail crime rings. Cyber investigators are also going after those who knowingly buy stolen goods online. But critics claim this ongoing crackdown won't solve an underlying issue that's driving retail theft. Orange County DA Todd Spitzer among those who blame progressive policies for lax prosecution and light sentences. Nick?
And Nancy, before I let you go, because I almost feel like here that I'm blaming the stores themselves, but are there policies possibly adding to the problem?
Very much so, Nick. I just reported recently about directives for employees not to intervene when flash mob type thievery is happening because stores do not want employees putting themselves in danger. In a lot of cases, there's insurance to cover losses, but that's why we keep seeing all these viral videos, people looting stores and just walking right out the door with thousands of dollars in merchandise.
And Nancy, I believe in one of your reports before, one of the assailants actually used bear spray at one point. So what are employees supposed to do? Nancy Liu reporting live for us this afternoon. Nancy, thank you so much. Up next on NewsNation Now, a new lawsuit claims the popular children's game maker Roblox is operating as an illegal gambling ring. We have those details next.
I'm Jonathan Lawson, here to tell you about life insurance through the Colonial Penn program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
The 3 what?
The 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 54 and was a smoker, but quit. What's my price?
You can get coverage for $9.95 a month.
I'm 65, retired, and take medications. What's my price?
Also $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80 and I'm on a fixed income. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you too. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 most popular whole life insurance plan available through the Colonial Penn program. It has an affordable rate starting at $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. You cannot be turned down because of your health. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is guaranteed. And this plan has a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, so your rate can never go up for any reason. Options start at $9.95 a month. Plus, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So call now for free information, and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record your important information and give helpful direction to your loved ones with your final wishes. And it's yours free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-341-4500 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-341-4500. 1-800-341-4500. That's 1-800-341-4500. So call now.
Hi, I'm Ben, and I've lost 60 pounds on Golo. I currently suffer from nerve damage, which kept me bedridden for 6 months. I was very overweight and depressed. I was skeptical when I first ordered Golo, but the condition I was in, I was willing to take the chance, and the chance turned out to be my lotto ticket. Golo gave me back my life, and that's why I'm here.
Change your life at golo.com. That's GOLO.com.
For over 25 years, Lovesac has been rewriting the rules of comfort. It's okay to change your style. Get messy. Get immersed. With Lovesac, you make the rules.
If you're over 50, imagine you could turn back the clock on your stiff, achy joints 10, even 20 years. Imagine you could do this without products that just temporarily hide the symptoms and may have side effects. Imagine no more. Introducing Instaflex Advanced. Get a complimentary sample just by texting DEEP to 231231. Instaflex Advanced is different because it targets the root cause of joint soreness and stiffness. It doesn't just cover up symptoms. Instead, it bathes your joints in its unique combination of 5 key natural ingredients found in no other product. Key ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies. Instaflex Advanced is so powerful, you could have better knees in just 1 week. Maybe that's why it's the #1 selling joint brand at GNC. But you can only get your complimentary sample by texting DEEP to 231231. Plus, text now and we'll include a tube of Instaflex pain cream with its exclusive oxygenated oil for fast-acting relief from the pain of arthritis, backaches, and sore muscles, absolutely free. Text DEEP to 231231.
Welcome back. We have breaking news. Residents are forced to evacuate after a refinery storage tank caught on fire near their homes in Louisiana. This was in Garyville, which is about 40 miles west of New Orleans. No injuries have been reported, and the fire has been contained. But officials say people within a 1-mile radius should evacuate as a precaution. We'll bring you more information as we learn it. Well, Roblox, an online video game maker that's popular with children, is accused of facilitating illegal child gambling. 2 parents have filed a lawsuit against the company, saying the lawsuit that Roblox has violated its own terms by allowing third-party gambling websites to accept online bets using Robux, that currency that's used on Roblox's games. Now, a Roblox spokesperson says they cannot comment on the specifics of a lawsuit and pending litigation, but says in part bad actors make illegal use of Roblox's intellectual property and branding. Roblox has teams in place to investigate these types of websites, engaging with law enforcement in some cases. Joining us now is Rick Jordan, cybersecurity expert and founder of Reach Out Technology. Hey, Rick, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is an interesting scenario with a lot of moving parts, isn't it?
It is, and I have to believe it's a particular concern to you because you're a dad, and I know that every other teenager, your kids are probably using Roblox. I don't know, but for our viewers, break down what it is and why you're concerned.
For sure. Roblox is it's a social gaming site. You know, the metaverse has been in existence way long before Zuckerberg blew it up. You know, the Roblox started in 2006, I believe is when it was, and kind of took about a decade to gain traction. But during that time period, and you asked about my kids too. Yeah, I have twin 16-year-olds and a 13-year-old. That's one of the things that has never been allowed for them. And not just because of the gambling, but it's notorious, Roblox is, as a grooming location for human trafficking, for victims of that. You know, and that's something in the cybersecurity space. I get into the physical side of security too. That's been a scenario for a very, very long time.
Well, Rick, you know, now I didn't know that part of it. And you say that simply because, again, just to be clear for those at home, it is an open gaming platform, meaning I can be in Toledo, Ohio, and connect and contact one of your twin children, which no adult should be doing who is not a part of your family.
You hit the nail on the head with that, too. And that's why there's things like the online gaming, which really is a story as well, too, where this is a third-party site. I know you were very specific in mentioning that. It's very accurate. These gambling sites take you off the Roblox platform, but where Roblox still connects is the Robux. It's almost like a digital wallet, similar to like you would have for crypto, for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, but it's for kids. They exchange these things. It's almost like Xbox. You know, my kids have Microsoft points that they've purchased and can spend in games. They've always been able to do that, but there's a greater degree of parental oversight that Microsoft allows than Roblox does.
And so what's happening is predators or those who are looking to hook kids into gaming, help me here, Rick, are leaving little breadcrumbs that lead them away from where the safe space is to a place that could possibly pull them into gambling and hook them into things that we know the platform itself has protected against, but because these third parties have built applications that could pull them away from that safe space. So what sort of punishment could Roblox face if the parents win their lawsuit against them?
This is intriguing, and I'm curious to see how this plays out, because if you look strictly at the facts, there's nothing really that Roblox has done to either encourage or discourage these. Now, they will moderate, just like anyone else does, like Facebook moderates the games that get put onto their sites, but that moderation has become less and less over the last couple of years. It's been a pandemic casualty, for better or worse. It's been a pandemic casualty. And what I can see Roblox doing is pretty much getting a slap on the hand for something like this, because it's not directly their fault. And I don't see any evidence that they've actually, at this point, been leading kids away from the site. It's really the gambling sites themselves, which we know there's tons of laws with that.
Right. And I guess we should shout out this parent who was paying attention and realized something wasn't right. But let me ask you this, Rick. Other games have similar activities. We just talked about how Bitcoin and other things are used to as digital currency. Many have microtransactions and paying real money to buy bonuses. What can our government do, or do we want more government oversight in this area to protect children and adults in this space?
Yeah, we're getting into some other things like we've talked about with social networking before, and some of the oversight that should happen. Is it media related? Because in essence, Roblox really is a social site that you can play games on. It's not really a gaming site that just has some hangout capabilities. It really is another social network that predates even social networks like Snapchat. So this is just really coming to light now. Our government on this scenario, I'm thinking as a parent, why are these gambling sites not having some kind of age verification in place? Because that's really what should be, because there's already laws there to protect that. On the social networking side, that opens up a whole nother can of worms, which I think we need to see some action on in the next several years.
Just to be clear, Roblox released a statement that they investigate bad actors who wrongfully use this property, sometimes getting authorities involved to shut down websites. What more should they be doing?
Yeah, like I said, my man, it's like a slap on the hand, right? And it's almost saying really kind of not our problem, but they're saying that they are active. I do believe that they should have higher content moderations, especially in this type of area. I mean, gambling, adult, pornography, that all exists on Roblox as well. And we have teenagers and preteens using the site. There should be more.
Rick, your message to parents, keep an eye on what your kids are doing.
Yeah, get them off Roblox. That's my direct message.
I love that. Rick Jordan, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
You bet. Thanks.
Absolutely. Here are more top stories we're following today. The Tesla autopilot safety probe is coming to an end. The company has been under federal investigation about its autopilot potentially having a problem with emergency vehicles on the side of the road. Now, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is also looking at improving the driver monitoring side. The NXST is investigating the car giant over its possible involvement in 16 autopilot crashes since 2021. And Hawaii's economy has seen between $4 and $6 billion in losses from this month's deadly wildfires. Moody's Analytics says the combined blazes burned between $2.5 and $5 and $4 billion worth of insured property in the state. The state's economic losses were calculated using damage maps and building-level damage assessments. These economic losses do not include government spending on the response to the devastation. There's still so much more ahead on NewsNation Now. That former President Trump surrendered to election interference charges. How will it affect the rest of the GOP? That's coming up in just 1 minute. That and more news when we come back.
My name's Nelson George. I was a firefighter for 30 years, retired in 2007. Before Omega XL, I was having a lot of pain in my fingers, and I like to work on old stuff. And to not be able to do the things that you enjoy and have to stop and wait till the next day to start again, it was depressing. I was in a lot of pain. I worked with a friend of mine who said, "Hands bothering you?" And he said he found something that actually worked, Omega XL. That's when I started taking it. I can work all day with my hands without being in a lot of pain. I would absolutely recommend Omega XL to my family and friends. What a way to feel great with Omega XL.
Call now or go to omegaxl.com/start. And when you buy one bottle of Omega XL, get another absolutely free. That's 2 bottles for only $39.95. Order right now and we'll also include a bottle of Vitamin XL D3 for whole body health absolutely free on your first order. Order now and get 2 bottles of Omega XL plus Vitamin XL D3 for only $39.95. Act now.